Aliyah, wallahi, you are doomed. Madam Red Flag don't tie red hijab, Amina added, laughing. But Aliyah, who saw nothing wrong in what she did, ignored them. Abuja men are players. They are never serious with their babes. But you can escape the heartbreak if you notice the red flag early. Aliyah would always say to her roommates, Amina and Fatima, whenever they are gathered discussing about relationships. She had dated 3 guys from the past, and all 3 of them broke her heart. And with her sad experiences, she swore to always look out for the red flags before falling deeply in love with them. Aliyah would advise her roommates and friends to always look out for the red flag. Whenever Amina's boyfriend visits, she would say, Amina, why is your boyfriend visiting? He is coming to eat. That's a red flag. Run. Oh. And anytime Fatima's boyfriend asks Fatima to wear a particular clothes, Aliyah would say, he is trying to control you. That's a red flag. Fatima, run. And that earned her the name, Madam Red Flag. Even her neighbors were not left out in her red flag sermon. There was a day Aliyah was coming back from the market, and as she alighted from the bus she boarded, she saw a man and a lady talking by the roadside. She overheard the man telling the lady the network was bad, so he wasn't able to transfer some money to her. And Aliyah immediately shouted, Sister, that's a red flag. Run! Aliyah doesn't hate men. No. In fact, she wants to be loved. She is just afraid of another heartbreak, and that made her always look out for red flags. Initially, it was just a simple way of protecting her heart. But as time goes on, it became an unhealthy obsession for perfection. Aliyah is a very beautiful and curvy lady, always full of smiles and suspicion. When she dated Abdul, she ghosted him because she asked her why she doesn't call him unless he calls. Aliyah quickly cut the call, looked at Amina, who sat in the room with her, and said, red flag. Amina looked at her and said, huh? Red flag? Aliyah, really? But Aliyah rolled her eyes and blocked him. Her next relationship was with Farouk, a young businessman who met Aliyah and fell in love with her at first sight. Aliyah, with her normal, abnormal, suspicious character, soon found out a so-called red flag. That day, Farouk invited her over to his house. When she got to his house, she met Farouk in the kitchen, preparing miyan taushe. She sat in the living room and waited for him to finish. When he came out, he casually greeted her and asked her to join him in the kitchen so she wouldn't get bored while waiting for him. Aliyah immediately stood up and said to herself, red flag, and she left. Next was Idris, a banker who is always busy. He met Aliyah at the bank during his lunch breaks, exchanged numbers and asked her for a date. On the day of the date, Aliyah arrived before him, and 5 minutes later, Idris arrived, apologizing for keeping her waiting. But Aliyah, instead of saying anything, stood up and left, muttering to herself, red flag. Fatima and Amina had begged her to stop, but she would always reply them saying, I should stop so that I will fall into the hands of these wicked Abuja men? Haba. But what Aliyah did not know is that the wicked Abuja men does not always arrive late at dates or invite her to the kitchen. Neither do they ask her to dress a certain way, but they are always doing the right thing. One fateful evening, as Aliyah was strolling home with her roommates and discussing over a bag of kilishi, a man dressed in a neatly well-ironed kaftan, wearing a perfume so loud that it announces his appearance before his voice. His name was Umar. stopped her and demanded for her contact with a soft voice. His voice alone melted Aliya's heart, and she gave in to his request, still reminding herself to look out for red flags. Aliya's first date with Umar was perfect. He didn't come late. In fact, he came 30 minutes earlier. He opened the car door for her, always ready to prepare tuwo masara for her, as she loves it so much. Never asked her to join him in the kitchen and never asked her to dress a certain way for him. And soon, Aliya fell in love with him. One day, Umar took Aliya to Waffles and Cream so as to buy her ice cream. After buying the ice cream, he dipped his hand in his jalab pocket and froze. Aliya, seeing his face, asked, "What's wrong?" "I think I left my wallet at home," he said. Aliya, not wanting the people around them to notice, decided to pay. When they got home, he told her to wait a little longer so he can transfer the money to her. When she told her roommate, they laughed, and Fatima said, "Aliya, wallahi, you are doomed." "Madam Red Flag don't tie red hijab," Amina added, laughing. But Aliya, who saw nothing wrong in what she did, ignored them. Aliya and Umar's relationship grew, and as it grows, Aliya fell more deeply in love with Umar. Umar, seeing how much she loves him, decided to strike. One day, he called Aliya, begging her to come over to his place immediately, as it's a matter of life and death. Aliya, who owns a shop, locked up her shop and ran to Umar's house. When she got there, she saw Umar pacing up and down in his living room. She asked him, "Umar, what happened?" Umar looked at her and ran towards her, holding her head. He said, "Aliya, there is this business I want to invest in, but I don't have enough money, and today is the deadline," he said, as if he memorized the words. Aliya looked at him, her heart softened. She asked, "How much do you need?" "I need 50 million for the business, but I already have 30 million. I only need 20 million to complete it. If you give me this money, I promise to double it. Please, Aliya, please," Umar answered. Aliya thought hard. She doesn't have 20 million. She only has 6 million. But she told Umar not to worry, that she will borrow the money for him. Umar thanked her and she left to look for the money. She called Fatima first, begging her to borrow her some money. But Fatima refused when she learned why she wants to borrow money. She cut the call, but not without warning her not to borrow money for Umar. Aliya ran around and at last she was able to get the 20 million. Out of excitement, she ran to Umar's house to give him the money and saw him packing his bags. When she asked why, he told her that he needed to travel to make sure the business goes well, that if he stayed back, they might scam him. Aliya transferred the money to him and Umar thanked her, promising to return with double of the money. 2 weeks later, and Aliya have not heard from Umar, not even a text, and whenever she calls him, his number is not always reachable. Umar disappeared with her money and her love, leaving her penniless, heartbroken, and in debt. She cried non-stop, and her friends, Amina and Fatima, consoled her, not wanting to tell her, "We told you so." And this was how Madam Red Flag jumped into a red sea with her red hijab. What do you think will happen at the party two? Do you think Aliya will ever recover the money? Let's find out in part 2. Thank you for watching this story. Please tell me what you think about this story at the comment section. And please do not forget to like, share, comment, and most importantly, besties, please subscribe. And do not forget to turn on your notification bell so that when I post the part 2, you will be the first to get notified. Thank you and remain blessed.